Going on, guys? It is Asthmatic here with you to talk for a little bit about the Division, because I just spent the first week of this game being out to play. I've played this game as much as I possibly could during this first week, and I've gotten to level 30, beaten the main story, rank 32 or something like that in the Dark Zone, already getting some high-end gear. And throughout this, there's a couple questions that have come up that I found answers to, and a couple things that just didn't make sense to me that I've now done the homework, and they do make sense to me now. And I wanted to bring all of the information that I've gathered that has helped me into one place so that I can present it to you guys in the form of this video, and you can hopefully have a better experience when playing the Division if you encounter these questions as well. So, let's get into it. The first thing I want to go over is when the reset is, and this has to do with vendor restock and daily mission reset. So what I found out is that the reset is at 1 a.m. Central European time, which is in Sweden where Massive is. So if you're not sure when this is in your home time zone, you've got two options. The first thing you can do is go on Google and type 1 a.m. CET in whatever time zone you are in. Or when you are in-game, walk up to a vendor, press X, open the transaction menu, and in the upper left-hand corner of your screen, you will see a timer counting down to when their reset is going to be. Now, for most vendors, it's going to be till, less than 24 hours. It's going to be to whenever their daily reset is. However, there are some vendors, and the one that I've encountered, namely, is the special weapons vendor who's on the second floor of your base of operations in the tech wing. That guy resets once a week. Now, this is good because this is the guy who uses Phoenix credits, which I'll get to in a second. This is the guy who uses Phoenix credits as currency, and he sells high-end gear, high-end blueprints, and all that kind of stuff. So if there's something you want to buy from him, you may need more than 24 hours in order to play the game and save up the money in order to buy it. So it's very good that that guy gives you more time, and it does look like his weekly reset is on Saturdays from that vendor. Sorry. So his reset is on Saturday at 1 a.m. Central European time. For me, here on the west coast of the U.S., that is 5 p.m. Every day, and then it's 5 p.m. on Friday is when my weekly reset is. So look it up in-game from the vendor restock, or go on Google and type in 1 a.m. CET converted to whatever time zone you're in to find out when your reset is. Now, Phoenix credits are the third main currency in the game. You've got your regular Division credits, which are the orange ones. You've got your Dark Zone credits, which are pretty much the same thing, except they only can be earned and spent in the Dark Zone. And then you also have these Phoenix credits, which are your end game currency. For anyone who's played Destiny, kind of think of these as the same category of currency as your marks, except you've only got one. Regardless of where you earn them, you can earn Phoenix credits in the Dark Zone, or from doing daily hard or challenging activities. You get Phoenix credits from all that stuff. They are apparently shared across your entire account between multiple characters. I haven't tested this, but I've heard that said from other people who have multiple characters. And right now, I do believe the cap on your account is 1,000. And if you can get there, you are amazing, and good luck doing that, because right now the drop rates are any named enemies that you encounter at level 30 are going to drop anywhere from 1 to 3, and then doing hang on, I got it written down right here. Completing the daily hard mission is going to give you 15, and completing the daily challenging mission is going to give you 20. But then you've also got 30 Phoenix credits that you get just for beating a mission on challenging. And that's mission to mission. And I'm not sure if that's just the first time you beat a mission you get that 30, or if that's, it being challenging plus it being the daily. I have a feeling that it's only the first time you complete it that you get those 30 credits. So spend them wisely when you get that bonus, because it's likely only one time. And there is also a high-end gear reward that you get for beating a mission on challenging. You get some piece of high-end gear. When I beat my first mission, I got a sweet backpack that looks awesome and also has great perks, so that's a lot of fun. And I believe that bonus reward is also one time only. So keep that in mind as you're playing, that if you're seeing yourself doing missions on challenging and getting a whole lot of Phoenix credits, most of those bonuses and those credits might be one time only. So keep that in mind and spend those credits wisely. Let's go ahead and skip on down, well, not skip, but move on down here to selling items versus deconstructing. Now, when you've got an item in your inventory that you don't want, you have two options. You can either take it to a vendor and sell it for credits, or you can deconstruct it and get some sort of components. Now, if you find yourself questioning, hey, which one of these things should I focus on? Let me tell you the way that I do it. Now, when I first started out the game and I was low level on my first character, I deconstructed everything for 2 reasons. Reason number 1, at a low level, pretty much every drop you get is better than whatever you had anyway. You know, your gear's constantly changing, so you don't really need to worry about saving up money and going to a vendor and buying some good gear, because whatever you've got is going to be outclassed when you get 2 levels higher in like 3 hours, and yeah. So at low levels, deconstruct everything because, you know, it's not worth saving up for gear. And the Division has an achievement or trophy or whatever you want to call it depending on your console. The Division has an achievement for deconstructing 100 items. So by deconstructing a lot of items at the beginning of the game, you can get that achievement out of the way. Then also the other thing with deconstructing, or excuse me, that's really what I did at low level. Deconstructed everything, and that was it. And then when I started getting a little higher up and I'd already gotten that achievement, I now split it like down the middle, where at higher levels, any purple gear that I get, I sell if I'm not going to be keeping it, and then because that's worth the most amount of money. Whether it's green, blue, or purple, purple obviously is going to be worth the most amount of money. So I deconstruct my greens and blues and I sell my purples. And this is because I do want to have some credits coming in. I do want to be saving up some money for things like recalibrating or whatever, or if there is anything I want to buy from a vendor, I want to have money for that. However, I do also want to have as many crafting materials as I possibly can. So I deconstruct all of my greens and blues because they give crafting materials. Now, if you haven't done crafting yet, I will give you just a brief little overview, and this is where you take things like fabric, weapon parts, division tech, electronics, and tools. I think are the only 5. There might be another category, but there are a bunch of different categories of components that you can use to craft gear of varying degrees. Now, as you play the game, you will unlock blueprints that are available to be used to make items at the crafting station on the first floor in your base of operations. Now, if you have been playing the game and you've got like a whole bunch of green level items, don't worry, because you can combine lower level items. I believe it's 5 greens make a blue, then 5 blues make a high end. So if you've got, you know, hundreds and hundreds of greens, but you want to make a high end item, you're not out of luck, because you can craft those things together to create the higher level items later. Wow, sorry, sometimes words just don't work the way they're supposed to. And the other thing that I want to point out with that is something that I've apparently completely forgotten. Oh yeah, that's right. Like, that's why for me, like, I don't worry about always having to deconstruct purple items, but I can just deconstruct a lot of lower level items and just put that stuff together to still have high end stuff in the end of the game. And next thing I want to go over is weapon mods. And pretty much all I want to say is use them and don't underestimate their abilities. Now, for people who've been playing shooter games for a long time, you know, most of the like reputable first-person shooters, you know, have adjustable weapons where you can put foregrips on and you can adjust what kind of optic you're using, or you can do different muzzle brakes and all this kind of stuff, which I've always really appreciated. But the Division uses these items, and actually they mean the most in this game. Like, I have never before played a shooter game where I've got a rifle and I'm like, man, this rifle's really cool, this is great, and then I get like a new foregrip that increases my stability, you know, like 20% or something like that, and I really feel that increase in stability. I notice that now I can fire fully automatic, and it's much more stable, and it's a lot easier to hold the weapon on target and land more continuous headshots firing fully automatic, which is a very difficult thing to do, and it really gives you an appreciation, and it keeps hitting me the more I keep upgrading my weapons, not getting new weapons, but getting better mods for my existing weapons, that I'm really seeing that mods mean a lot in this game. So definitely don't underestimate the ability or the power of good weapon mods, and don't always just think that the only way to do better DPS or to have a better gun is to get a better gun. Like, if you've got a, you know, whatever it is that you like, because you can equip weapon mods on pretty much any class of weapon, get some mods for it. There are high-end blueprints available for mods from the special weapons vendor. The advanced guy over in the security wing sells mods, and he refreshes every day. So look around, look for mods, definitely use them because they're awesome. And that's where I spend most of my Division credits right now. The last thing I want to go over is the scavenging perk. Now, this plays into pretty much everything else in the game, because your scavenging level affects like gear drops and like the loot that you find. You know, like, is this enemy that I kill going to drop blues, or is he going to drop purples? And how many is he going to drop? And when I'm out looking for crafting materials and I open this box, am I going to find green stuff or blue stuff or high-end stuff? All of that is affected by your scavenging perk. And it's a little unclear to me at this point exactly what types of items you can get the scavenging perk on, but I know I've got it on my knee pads and my mask at this point. I'm not sure if those are the only two or if there's more items later that are going to be able to have it, but essentially, and this is going to bleed into recalibration a little bit as well, and I'll talk about that in a sec. Your scavenging perk determines how high of quality items that you find. And the way that you can get the highest possible scavenging is by recalibrating your items. Now, recalibration is something that I don't want to take the time to go all the way into right now for two reasons. One, I'm not really the expert, and it's something that should be shown using gameplay, which I'm obviously not doing in this video. And number two, Eric's has done a fantastic video about recalibration, and you guys are going to get much better information and get a much better experience by just going and watching his video on recalibration to get all the information there is on that. But to give you a brief rundown, there's a recalibration station on the second floor of your base of operations on the left side once you come up the stairs, and you can pick one perk on any given item and re-roll it as much as you want. Now, when you re-roll it, there are a certain number of different perks that could be in that slot, and every time you re-roll, you're going to get to choose between, you know, a few of those. Like, this could be A, B, C, D, or E, and then when you re-roll it, it's like, all right, you got A, B, or C of these values. The other thing to know about recalibration is that when you recalibrate something, whatever perk on a piece of gear you recalibrate, that will then be the only perk on that piece of gear that you can recalibrate further. So if I've got, you know, some gloves that do all this kind of stuff, but they do firearms, but I'd rather them do electronics, if I recalibrate them to make them do electronics, I can now only recalibrate them within firearms, stability, or stamina, or electronics. I can't go down later and decide, oh, now I want to change the damage against elites to be, you know, XP on heal or something like that, or XP on kill, sorry. You can't do that later. Once you pick a stat to reroll on an item, you are locked. You can technically reroll that stat as much as you want, but the cost does go up exponentially every single time you do it. So keep that in mind, that if you're sitting down with an item and you're like, all right, I'm going to reroll this thing to get a really good scavenging perk on it, know that you might be spending a lot of credits to do that. And when I say a lot, I do mean potentially up to 100,000 or more. Because purple gear starts at like 15,000 to reroll, and then I believe it doubles every time. So maybe not an exponential increase, but it gets way more expensive. So the other thing about that I want to note is that high-end gear to recalibrate requires Phoenix credits instead of just regular Division credits. So keep that in mind as well, because Phoenix credits are very valuable. So if you want to re-roll high-end gear, you better make sure that it's something you really want to do, because you're going to be spending Phoenix credits on it. And pretty much the last thing I want to mention about not just the scavenging and not just about recalibration, but about the Division in general, is that if you want more information on any of the stuff that I've covered in this video, or any information on the Division in general, I've got a couple other videos, but you should definitely check out Eric's Gaming here on YouTube. He is a dedicated Division YouTuber and streamer, so if he's playing, he's likely on his channel over on Twitch, but then he's also making, right now, since we just came out, he's pretty much got daily videos coming out. He's got a great video about recalibration, talking about different kinds of builds and all that kind of stuff. So here I do Xbox news. I'm covering the Division right now because I love this game. It's a popular game and it just came out. But, you know, in a couple months, I won't be talking only about the Division. We're going to be doing Quantum Break and other stuff as well. But if you really love the Division and this is a game that you're going to be playing for a long time into the future, definitely get it locked on over at Eric's Gaming, because he is going to be doing detailed coverage of this game well into the foreseeable future. So I have now been talking on this video for longer than I thought I was going to, and longer than I don't even know how long I've been here. So I'm going to let you guys go and get back to whatever else you were doing. Please go play more Division. If you've got any other questions about anything you want me to cover, please let me know down in the comments below. I would love to talk to you guys. You know, if there's anything you want more clarification on, or anything that you haven't found answers about yet that you want me to go find out for you and present back, please let me know. And that's what I've got for you guys right now. So this has been Asthmatic talking a little bit about the Division, and we'll be seeing you guys in the next video. Thank you very much.